It is fun. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I know it's not a I mean, being kidnapped is not fun. Hi everyone, this is Paul Loves to Read, and as you know in this channel, it's all about spreading the love and joy for literature, and we hope our little channel helps you find the right book for you. And today I'm going to share with you a really interesting, unique book. It's called a very long title. It's called a Kim Jong-Il production, The Extraordinary True Story of a Kidnapped Filmmaker, His Star Actress, and a Young Dictator's Rise to Power, written by Paul Fischer. This was published in... Hold on. Ala, sana. Published in 2015. Non-fiction. The premise of the book is exactly what the title says. It's it is about the extraordinary true story of a kidnapped filmmaker and his actress, kidnapped by North Korea. So the filmmaker and the star actress is from South Korea. They were kidnapped by Kim Jong-il, the supreme leader of North Korea at the time. Kailan nga ba ito? Hold on. I don't know when. I forgot when they were kidnapped, no, but obviously this happened like decades ago. And the reason why they were kidnapped and their experiences along the way and how they got out of it ultimately. Yeah. It's very surreal. One of the most surreal, bizarre nonfiction stories I have read thus far. At first, admittedly, I thought, is this a reliable book? I was thinking, baka scam to, or, maybe this is not a reliable author, not heavily researched, one of those books type thing. But then I looked up the book and the author, and it seems legit, and it's not exactly a secret story. It's pretty much well known. So, and the two persons who were kidnapped, the filmmaker and the actress themselves, they have written books about this, about their experiences themselves. So they do have their own memoirs, or biography about their experience in North Korea at the time. So there are references to it. I don't know this book. I didn't know this book existed at all. We found this in Big Bad Wolf sale, online sale, and it's an interesting title. It's a curious title, and we bought it. I decided to. Ray is actually the one who picked the book, but when it got here, I decided to read it because I've never read anything about North Korea. I haven't really read anything about that region. They are so, their leaders, their supreme leaders, their history, their country, their nation, their people is so shrouded in mystery and myth that it got me curious about this book, right? That's really my motivation why I read this book, why I'm even interested at all, because I don't know anything about it and I'm curious, like, okay, this is a nonfiction book. Maybe, it would be a different perspective. This could be something enlightening. It is fun. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I know it's not a I mean, being kidnapped is not fun. I know that. But I guess it's in the manner of writing and the storytelling, and the story itself. Like I said, it is so surreal, right? And if I could just give you if I could just paint you a small picture of it, and that is definitely pun intended, by the way. Kim Jong-il, the supreme leader, is a movie buff. He loved movies. He, at the time, had the largest collection of Western and Asian films. And which is ironic because movies are not allowed in North Korea, diba? But he is a fan of James Bond, of those types of movies, and he wanted to be recognized in the world stage of film as one of the countries who produces great films because he loved films. So he wanted to promote his country in that field, and he wanted to compete in Cannes Film Festival, in those European film festival. He wanted to compete with them. So he needed great filmmakers. He did not have great filmmakers. South Korea did. South Korea at the time had produced a lot of great films, produced a lot of great actors, and they did compete in the world stage of cinema. So the Supreme Leader thought, hey, why don't we just import those talents here and then let them give them the resources to create films for us, and and at the same time help us teach our people about socialism and promote our country, and then so on and so forth. So that's the thought process behind it. That's the foundation of this story. True story, by the way. So that's why I call it fun. That's why I describe it as fun, because it's such a surreal, it's such a bizarre, diba? It's such a bizarre story plot line. You could almost imagine it as a movie, but it's not it's not fiction. It's real. It's a, it's a very enlightening book. This is unlike any other nonfiction book you would read, story that you would read. And again, it's not as if it's a secret story. It's out there. It's been covered a few times by different media outlets, then, and even History Channel and so on. But it's quite different, right? When you read it in book form, in a long book form, because you will get details that you won't normally get and experience in film or otherwise, right? And it's very enlightening. It will, it's surreal and bizarre, and you would start to kind of question where and when the reality start and stop. Na parang it's so ridiculous to think about it that surely you would think na surely it cannot be real. But then you would realize that it is actually in fact real, and it happened. It actually happened. So that to me is such a enlightening and kind of eye-opening experience for me reading this book. This is way back when, right? But it's not too far back that you can't relate it to certain memories during your own time. So parang you can get parallels during this decade. What was your country doing? What was the film industry like during this time? And then you will read a story like this that happened during that time. Na parang, how could that be? So it's amazing just thinking about that. The difference, right? And then, who is this book for? For me, I love movies also. I love movies myself. And I think that contributed to my interest in this book also. It's about film. It's about filmmaking. It's about a country trying to promote itself and trying to kind of continue promoting some kind of a delusion. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So it's bizarre. It's surreal. But what I really admired about the couple, and they are a couple, they were a married couple, is that their conviction and their tenacity to survive and to escape from where they are, but also at the same time use their skills in filmmaking and in acting in trying to get out of it. Their story is truly amazing because at their time in North Korea, they still managed to produce films, great films. So they still use their skills very, very wisely and very cleverly. And ultimately, the same, yung pa yung irony nun, the same reason, the reason why they were kidnapped, because they were great filmmakers, was also the same reason that allowed them to get out of it. Because they were such great filmmakers, in the end, that was their exit from North Korea. So I thought, it's really a very informative book, very enlightening. It's a very light read. It's fun read. I know it's not a fun topic, but still, it's about film and filmmaking. So I would really recommend this book to anyone who is curious about history, about North Korea, about South Korea, and about filmmaking. So I hope you will try.